So how we doing? Everyone okay? If you could indicate that you can see me and or hear me, that would be great.
Yeah, people seem to be able to see you. I
Uh,
still can't.
Ozzy's talking about the chat finally kicking back in.
Hey everyone, we're continuing to kind of troubleshoot live as we do this. Twitch let
Let
me
me
speak
speak challenge.
challenge. Absolutely.
Okay. How are you doing? You said you still don't have moderator view.
I still don't have access to moderator view, but I can watch the chat from on the Twitch side of things.
Do you want me to dive in?
Um, I think if you can give me about 30 seconds to see if this is going to work for me or if I'm just going to have to... Oh, wait.
Oh. Moderator chat's
Hold.
back, y'all.
Hold!
Beastrogen's saying other streams went down too, so yeah, it's definitely a Twitch side issue.
Okay, it looks like the feed's running in. Test.
How long we need to fix Twitch, Scotty? 8 weeks, Captain, but you don't have 8 weeks, so I'll do it for you in 2.
Success! I think I got a message through.
Woo woo!
Alright. Okay now, where were we?
Y'all.
Yes, exactly. Let me do a little bit of...
Read the story! Now!
Read the story right now! Right now!
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to try and let people on the various social medias know that we're back. But, yes, give us a recap, and then let's get into the story.
Previously on A Christmas Carol,
Dong dong.
Ebenezer Scrooge was an abject bastard, the ultimate Brexit voter, a man so capitalist that he even hated money for leaving him.
Hold on, you didn't finish the Piper at the Gates of Dawn story.
Yes, I did.
Oh, they met Pan. It was the Greek Pan. It was freaky.
Oh, real quick. The animals meet the Greek god Pan, who has been looking after this little baby otter, and they are essentially enraptured. Ratty, because I'm increasingly convinced as the years go by, Ratty is actually an incarnation of the Doctor, is a little bit kind of, "Sir, nice to meet you again." And Mole is basically made entirely of astonishment. And Pan hands this little chap back to them and walks through a gate in the air and disappears. And they never, ever talk about it outside that chapter. It is the perfect shape of a weird Fortean event. It's one of those things where people are completely pushed sideways out of their reality into something which looks like it, and then just choose not to talk about it. Beastrogen, Puckerpook's Hill, and Stig of the Dump. Yes, very, very similar in tone.
I'm sorry, was that English?
Yes, Puckerpook's Hill and Stig of the Dump are 2 classic English children's novels.
Stick of the Dump.
Stig of the Dump, in which a boy caveman is discovered living in a rubbish dump.
Okay, you can't give me crap for Amelia Bedelia ever again.
When have I ever given you crap for Amelia Bedelia? Amelia Bedelia rocks.
Okay, let us move very, very swiftly on.
Anyway. Meanwhile, back at A Christmas Carol. Oh yeah, and also, this ties into New Girl, because in New Girl, Prince is the god Pan, and Nick and Jess are Ratty and Mole, and the baby is Jess' ability to feel sexy. So Dickens, yeah? Cool. Previously in A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, also known as Boz, last time, gotta relish it.
Yeah.
The ultimate Brexit voter was just refusing flat out to honour Christmas. He gets into a fight with his nephew, who's lovely, and basically torments his employee, who is huddled around what's essentially a match. And we established that he's wearing a comforter. Bob is coming to work in the duvet from the bed, because that's the only way that he can stay warm. And Scrooge is visited by 4 ghosts. The first is the ghost of his dead partner, Jacob Marley, who basically tells him that he's screwed, as opposed to Scrooged. And
Content warning, bad.
I regret nothing. And that he will be visited by 3 ghosts who will show him the error of his ways. The first, The Ghost of Christmas Past, shows him his unhappy childhood, the sister that he lost, and the moments where he began to steer towards avarice and greed over joy. The second, The Ghost of Christmas Present, the party bear, as we like to call him, basically shows him
We being you.
shows him how amazing people are. It's honestly my favourite bit of the book, where he's just hopping all over the world, showing how tiny little interactions between people matter, and kindness matters. And I really like that bit. And then The Ghost of Christmas Future, which I believe was it the Craven Wraith? Was what it was called?
I think Craven Wraith was something like that.
It just has no time for Scrooge's nonsense. Because by this time, Scrooge is all like, oh, well, obviously I've changed, so I should just go home now. And basically, The Ghost of Christmas Future just points at his gravestone for 3,000 words and waits for him to buy and clue.
That's right. Party bear with the boob window.
Party bear with the boob window.
And the small children under his coat.
Yes, exactly.
Let's just move really swiftly on.
The Ghost
And the
of-
very inappropriate party games. Oh my gosh, that was creepy and nasty.
As Silver's put it, The Ghost of Christmas presents.
I love it, Silver. Well done.
So, Scrooge sees his grave, basically witnesses people discussing the death of a horrible old miser that no one liked in London. And because he's still like, well, obviously I'm lovely, refuses to accept it until finally The Ghost of Christmas Future goes full Silent Bob and basically forces him to realize this. And horrified, he falls screaming back onto his bed, and the night has passed. Yet Party Bear is the answer to I don't know how to tell you should care about other people. You're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. It is the stylish way to do so.
Stave 5. The end of it. Yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own. To make amends in. I will live in the past, the present, and the future, Scrooge repeated as he scrambled out of bed. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley! Heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob. On my knees. He was so fluttered and so glowing with his good intentions that his broken voice would scarcely answer to his call. He had been sobbing violently in his conflict with the spirit, and his face was wet with tears. They are not torn down, cried Scrooge, folding one of the bed curtains in his arms. They are not torn down, rings and all. They are here. I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. His hands were busy with his garments all the time, turning them inside and out, putting them on upside down, tearing them, mislaying them, making them parties to every kind of extravagance. I don't know what to do, cried Scrooge, laughing and crying in the same breath, and making a perfect lacoon of himself with his stockings. I am light as a feather. I am happy as an angel. I am merry as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. Hello there. Hello. He had frisked into the sitting room and was now standing there, perfectly winded. There's the saucepan that the gruel was in, cried Scrooge, starting off again and going round the fireplace. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. There's the corner where the ghost of Christmas Present sat. There's the window where I saw the wandering spirits. It's all right. It's all true. It all happened. Really, for a man who had been out of practice for so many years, it was a splendid laugh. A most illustrious laugh, the father of a long, long line of brilliant laughs. I don't even know what day of the month it is, said Scrooge. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. Quite a baby. Never mind, I don't care. I'd rather be a baby. Hello! Whoop! Hello there! He was jacked in his transports by the churches ringing out the lustiest peals he had ever heard. Clash, clang, hammer, ding, dong, bell. Bell, dong, ding, hammer, clang, clash. Oh, just glorious, glorious noise. Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head. No fog, no mist. Clear, bright, jovial, stirring, cold. Cold, piping for the blood to dance to. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious. "What's today?" cried Scrooge, calling downward to a boy in Sunday clothes who perhaps had loitered in to look about him. "Eh?" returned the boy with all his might of wonder. "What's today, my fine fellow?" said Scrooge. "It's Christmas Day," replied the boy. "It's Christmas Day," said Scrooge to himself. "I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Why, they can do anything they like. Of course they can. The spirits. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow." "What?" returned the boy. "Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one, at the corner?" Scrooge inquired. "I should hope I did," replied the lad. "An intelligent boy," said Scrooge. "A remarkable boy. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey. That's important. The big one." "What, the one big as me?" returned the boy. "What a delightful boy," said Scrooge. "It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck. It's hanging there now," replied the boy. "Is it?" said Scrooge. "Well, you should go and buy it." "You what?" exclaimed the boy. No, said Scrooge. "I am in earnest. Go and buy it, and tell them to bring it here, that I may give them the direction where to take it. Come back with the man, and I will give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I will give you half a crown." The boy was off like a shot. He must have had a steady hand at a trigger. Who could have got a shot off half so fast? "I'll send it to Bob's," whispered Scrooge, rubbing his hands and splitting with a laugh. "He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Oh, Joe Miller never made such a joke as sending it to Bob's, will be." The hand in which he wrote the address was not a steady one, but write it he did, somehow, and went downstairs to open the street door, ready for the coming of the poulterer's man. As he stood there, waiting his arrival, the knocker caught his eye. "Hey now, I shall love it as long as I live," cried Scrooge, patting it with his hand. "I scarcely looked at it before. What an honest expression it has on its face. What a wonderful knocker. Oh, here's the turkey. Hello! How are you? Merry Christmas." It was a turkey. In fact, it was a turkey. He could never have stood upon his legs, that bird. He would have snapped them off short in a minute, like sticks of sealing wax. "Why, it's impossible to carry that to Camden Town," said Scrooge. "You must have a cab." The chuckle with which he said this, and the chuckle with which he paid for the turkey, and the chuckle with which he paid for the cab, and the chuckle with which he recompensed Spindle, were only to be exceeded by the chuckle with which he sat down breathless in his chair again, and chuckled till he cried. Shaving was not an easy task, for his hand continued to shake very much, and shaving requires attention, even when you do not dance while you are at it. But if he had cut the end of his nose off, he would have put a piece of sticking plaster over it, and been quite satisfied. He dressed himself, all in his best, and at last got out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth, as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present, and walking with his hands behind him, Scrooge regarded every single one of them with a delighted smile. He looked so irresistibly pleasant, in a word, that 3 or 4 good-humoured fellows said, "Good morning, sir, and Merry Christmas to you," and Scrooge said often afterwards that, of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, these were the blithest in his ears. He had not gone far, when, coming on towards him, he beheld the portly gentleman who had walked into his counting-house the day before, and said, "Scrooge and Marley's, I believe." It sent a pang across his heart to think how this old gentleman would look upon him when they met. But he knew what path lay straight before him, and he took it. My dear sir, said Scrooge, quickening his pace and taking the old gentleman by both his hands. How do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir. Mr. Scrooge? Yes, said Scrooge, that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness... Here, Scrooge whispered in his ear. Lord bless me, cried the gentleman, as if his breath were taken away. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious? If you please, said Scrooge. Not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favour? My dear sir, said the other, shaking hands with him, I don't know what to say to me if it... Don't say anything, please, retorted Scrooge. Come and see me. Will you come and see me? I will, cried the old gentleman, and it was clear he meant to do it. Thank you, said Scrooge. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Eldritch, don't do that. I would play that game.
I would play the hell out of that game.
He went to church and walked about the streets. He watched the people hurrying to and fro, and patted children on the head, and questioned beggars, and looked down into the kitchens of houses, and up to the windows, and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that any walk, that anything, could give him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times, before finally the courage to go up and knock presented itself, but he made a dash, and he did it. Is your master at home, my dear? Said Scrooge to the girl. Nice girl, very. Yes, sir. Where is he, my love? Said Scrooge. He's in the dining room, sir, along with mistress. I'll show you upstairs, if you please. Thank you. He knows me, said Scrooge, with his hand already on the dining room lock. I'll go in here, my dear. He turned it gently and sidled his face in round the door. They were looking at the table, which was spread out in great array, for these young housekeepers are always nervous on such points, and like to see that everything is right. Fred, said Scrooge. Dear heart alive, how his niece by marriage started. Scrooge had forgotten for the moment about her sitting in the corner with the footstool, or he wouldn't have done it on any account. It's I, your Uncle Scrooge. I have come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred? Change of heart. Still kind of a dick. Let him in. It is a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. He was at home in 5 minutes. Nothing could be heartier. His niece looked just the same. So did Topper when he came. Yeah, we're watching you, Topper. So did the plump sister when she came. So did everyone when they came. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful unanimity, wonderful happiness. No bad touching. But he was early at the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late, that was the thing he had set his heart upon. And he did it. Oh, yeah, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. He was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time, and Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come into the tank. His hat was off before he opened the door, his comforter too. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen, as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock. Cratchit, growled Scrooge, in his accustomed voice, as near as he could feign it these days. What do you mean by coming here at this time of day? I'm very sorry, sir, said Bob. I am behind my time. You are? Repeated Scrooge. Oh, yes. Yes, I think you are. Step this way, sir, if you please. It's only once a year, sir, pleaded Bob, appearing from the tank. Shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir. Now, "I'll tell you what, my friend," said Scrooge. "I am not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore," he continued, leaping from his stool and giving Bob such a dig in the waistcoat that he staggered back into the tank again, "and therefore I have no option but to raise your salary." Bob trembled, got a little nearer to the ruler. He had a momentary idea of knocking Scrooge down with it, holding him and calling to the people in the court for help and a straight waistcoat. "A Merry Christmas, Bob," said Scrooge with an earnestness that could not be mistaken, as he clapped him on the back. "A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I will raise your salary. I will endeavour to assist your struggling family, and we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I. Off you go, Bob Cratchit." Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more, and to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any good old city, town or borough, in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and honestly little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. And knowing that such as these would be blind anyway, he thought it quite as well that they should wrinkle up their eyes in grins as have the malady in less attractive forms. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one. The end.
By the way, total bravo for not losing it at No More Intercourse with Spirits.
It wasn't just that. It was I got to No More Intercourse with Spirits, and then I saw Undying Tiny Tim, Immortal Tiny Tim in the chat, and I was like, motherfucker.
Hold!
I am not spinning out on the last paragraph of this.
Yeah, there was a comment in the chat about this Scrooge being the white man who shows up to make amends over the top and too late, and just rocks up to Mrs. Cratchit's on Christmas Day with a 40-pound raw bird. It's like, thank you, thank you, you fuck. The spirit intercourse line being followed by a line about abstinence. Victorian language. Let's just call it Victorian language. I did have the reference for Smoking Bishop up and ready to roll, though, when you hit the line, so I'm very proud of myself.
Fantastic. What was Smoking Bishop? Is it kind of...
Smoking Bishop is a type of mulled wine, punch, or wassail. It was especially popular in Victorian England at Christmas time and is mentioned in Dickens' story. Smoking Bishop was made from port, red wine, lemons or Seville oranges, sugar, and spices such as cloves. It's basically punch. Hot, mulled, boozy punch.
And what about Joe Miller?
You're making a reference I don't get.
There's a line about Joe Miller could not have turned a joke so well as he.
Yeah, I didn't get the name on that one, but maybe a period comedian or actor or performer? I don't know. I'd have to look that one up.
And yeah, it's good. It deserves its reputation as a classic. At the exact same time as you could tell, as several people in the chat did, that he got to this point and he was like, yeah, it's all fine now.
You're all fine.
End.
Stinking Bishop is a fondue, if I remember correct, Havenly. It's a garlic-based fondue.
Yes, it's a good one too.
Yummy. Hot boozy punch is also what I was called in high school. Heyo. Joe Miller, the famous clown. Yeah, I thought it might be some sort of performer.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely
Eldritch.
making more. This is definitely making me hungry.
Okay, so that was A Christmas Carol.
The stream note versions tonight are all full of the Muppet stuff, isn't it?
There are the best songs from the Muppets Christmas Carol are all up in the stream notes tonight.
Yay! That'll be fun. Now, before we do shenanigans,
Democracy.
Oh my gosh, you have to stop yawning. You're making me yawn.
You're yawning.
So yes, before we get into yes, Wendell, isn't that all the songs? All dead except for
Except
the
for Tiny
Deathless.
Deathless Tim.
Well, Niblick, he kind of does. He does kind of wake up with, he woke up and it was all a dream, and I am a reformed man who will overcompensate. You know, it's hard to call it formulaic because it was kind of the original.
The creation of the formula.
I mean, I'd have to dig back deep into my operatic lore to do the whole wake up from a dream thing.
See,
Sigurd only wakes up
that
from
one was on you.
sleep. He doesn't wake up from a dream.
All I can think of
God
is...
damn you, stop yawning.
You started it. All I can think
Hey,
of...
we talk of dreams. How are
Hey,
you
we talk
doing,
of dreams.
Nico and Party? Hey, everybody. Happy Neekmas.
Happy
Happy
Neekmas.
birthday, Nico. I hope you've
Happy
had a
birthday,
fantastic
Nico.
time.
All I can think of is the party bear just holding a hand up next to the Craven Wraith going, bro, and just the Reaper finding
Oh
out.
my gosh, Party Bear and the Craven Wraith is such a cool, like, sitcom waiting to happen. They're sitting on a couch. Okay, I need to stop suggesting ideas like that. Happy Neekmas.
of
It's fantastic
Jesus.
to have you all here. You just missed the end of the story, and we're just about to vote on
What we do next.
what we're going to read next. So we have 3 options for the chat. Why don't you talk them through it?
I will do that as soon as I put the correct tag up. The correct tag is now up. Right. Those 3 options. We have a bunch of other short search and rescue stories. For those of you who've been with us basically since the start, thank you so much for the subscription, Joe. Search and Rescue is a fantastic collection of creepypasta short stories about the points in the American National Park system where reality breaks down and how park rangers are just used to dealing with random, horrifying stuff out there. And there's about 6 or 7 more of those. It's a couple of sessions worth easy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's about, I think, a little less than a dozen short stories. So it would probably be 2, 3, 4 nights worth of miscellaneous creepypasta. So that's one option. We're going to run the poll as soon as we tell you all the options, everybody. Don't
The
worry.
next option is the Purcell Papers by Sheridan Le Fanu.
Right, so if you were with us for the, remind me of her name?
Carmilla.
For the Carmilla stories. The Purcell Papers are mentioned in the Carmilla stories. Purcell was one of the original supernatural investigators of the Victorian literature. And this is a collection of short stories about Purcell.
And other cases, because there's the framing narrative in Carmilla of, Dr. Purcell, I write to you with this unusual situation. And finally, because it's out of copyright in 36 hours,
Yeah, and as of a couple of days from now,
we got an emoji thanks to Joe Mendasium. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the emojis you are unlocking, everybody, and for all the fantastic gift subs. I really appreciate it. Our third option is, because of the way that copyright works in the United States, The Great Gatsby
Oh, yeah.
enters the public domain on Friday morning. And so we were thinking that that might be a fun option to... I've never actually read it. I've seen like 18 million movies.
That one was you again.
Yes, it was me again. I'm sorry, chat. I need some more coffee. But we thought Gatsby might be. It has 9 chapters, so we're thinking it would be about 9 weeks worth. But we would probably do more of the deep dive into the writer at the time and the kind of the situations around it. And we thought that might be kind of like gay fanfic will be canon starting Friday. Yeah, exactly. So to recap one more time before I start the poll, we have 3 options for you. We have The Great Gatsby, we have the Purcell Papers, and we have more Search and Rescue. So
2 spookies and 1 unspooky.
exactly. So the chat has got, about 5 minutes to cast your votes and make up your mind. Should we also talk a little bit about what we have kind of stream-wise planned for the next couple of months?
Yes, we have, basically we're trying to get a guest or 2 in every month.
Yeah, we're trying for a guest a month.
And this is going to tie in with year 2 of Operation Adopt a Book. So we have Primi Mohammed coming in to discuss the sequel to Beneath the Rising. We have my friend, former editor, occasional mentor, and all around just thoroughly good egg, Brendan Connolly, coming in next month to discuss Circles, his fantastic horror audio drama.
Yep.
Brendan is the most enthusiastic human being I have ever met. And it is an absolute delight to get to chat to him about this stuff.
Wendell says I want all of them, so the poll can just give us the running order, yeah?
That's pretty much what the last one did.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we do have some other fiction that we are... I literally have a stack of books. Ooh, I might take a picture of this stack of books.
let's read them out. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, so we have a couple of other copyrighted titles, of course, that we're in the process of trying to contact authors about. There are 567 Great Gatsby fics on AO3, and 453 of them are Nick / Gatsby. Well done. So some other stuff.
One of them is Gatsby Barney the Dinosaur. Let's move on.
Okay. Some of the stuff we're trying to reach out to people about reading is some work by Xander Odell from their anthology Godfall and Other Stories.
Which is so freaking great. It's one of the best anthologies I've ever read.
Yeah, we've got some really good... theirs is a collection. Then we've got Sword and Sonnet, the anthology, which has a bunch of great short stories. Murder Ballads by John Horner Jacobs, who wrote the exquisite The Sea Dreams It Is the Sky, which is just positively horrifically wonderful. A collection by Tina Connolly. We've got a book by Mur Lafferty called Marco and the Red Granny. We're going to try and get a hold of Mur about. Some John Paget from The Secrets of Ventriloquism. John Paget writes for audio like no other author I know. Like Johnny level good. If you were at Pod UK this year... I read one of John Paget's stories during EA's live show, which we love. Matt Wallace has a series of novellas called Sin du Jour about the supernatural catering business, which we're trying to kind of get a hold of. And this one's a bit of a punt. But I'm really curious what the audio position is about the new Maria Headley translation of Beowulf, because I would love to see Alistair read Beowulf.
This, it should be pointed out, is the version of Beowulf that opens with, bro.
Everybody's like, can we have all? Yeah, it would be amazing if we could actually read the Beowulf. I'm guessing the position is going to be, oh no you don't, but yeah, exactly, wheat. But it would be really, really fun to read. Bro, seriously, I would love that.
And I mean, there's a couple of other things we're dancing around. There's a Primi novella, which we might be looking at, but I think there's an audio version of it.
Yeah, the Apple Tree
Throne.
The Apple Tree Throne is another one.
And it's our understanding that Ursula does a series of novels about paladins who smooch.
Yeah, some romantic smoochy paladin stuff maybe might not be so bad. Oh, should I put that on the list of stuff that we should look into?
Let's look into it. What the hell, man?
That sounds good. How much time have we got left in the poll? I can't quite tell, but it looks like it's running down, so if you haven't cast your vote, right now, Search and Rescue is definitely winning, but it's a tie for Gatsby and Purcell Papers. I know, Smoochy Paladin sounds wonderful,
The
doesn't
Lumberjack
it?
Cowboy returns.
Oh, yeah, it's looking like the Lumberjack Cowboy is going to return, everybody.
Yeah.
Please see if you can read the Paladin romances. There are so many lines that would just kill you. Oh, wow. I'd actually pay to make Alistair read Ursula's smoochy books. I should buy these, shouldn't I?
I think you should.
I'm in the need for smoochy books. Smoochy books are good. Okay, everybody, the poll's almost done. I'm warming up the corpse counter. Do. Aha! Okay.
We have a winner.
More Search and Rescue. All right. Some more creepypasta it shall be when we return. And on that note, it's probably definitely time for some shenanigans, isn't it?
Shenanapalooza.
And just to warn everybody, we cleared the hopper. These are all the shenanigans we had on hand.
Loser, baby.
Because we thought this was going to be a really short stream, and then Twitch fell over. So, okay, here we go. Are you excited about this?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
So first off, we have the piece of art, the lovely piece of art from Alexandra Taylor, which is just Elias and Peter and probably Jonah sitting around having an evil old man brunch club.
Oh, that's not a shenanigan.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yes. See this list? These are all the shenanigans.
Oh, yes, of course. Right.
There we go. I thought I'd open them all. I'm sorry.
It's cool, I say. It's cool.
Okay, cool.
Right. Let's try this again. This is from Shiny Opals. After all of this is over and the world goes back to normal and everyone is happy, Martin helps open the Peter Lucas Community Centre. It's what he would have wanted, says a tearful Martin during the dedication ceremony. He loved being a part of the community so much. I'm sure he'd be thrilled that he lives on in all of our memories. Every day. If Peter had a grave, he'd be spinning in it.
Don't mess with a poet, man.
They will F you up. Then, of course, there is the Lucas family Zoom call.
Which has no dialogue.
Oh, but you see, I helped out with that.
Yes, there was a response.
This was a piece of art by Monsieur Dauphin on Twitter, and it's just a Zoom call with Peter Lucas, Mordecai Lucas, Nathaniel Lucas, Evan Lucas, and Judith Lucas, and they're all blank squares on a Zoom call with their mics muted. And it's just marked Lucas Family Reunion 2020. To which I responded with, Martin, are you sure I can't leave my own call? Martin, I don't feel especially zoomed right now. Martin! And Saturn, Dad for Plaid, on Twitter, drew this moment brilliantly with Martin with, it should be noted, a good cow mug. And just the action sound effect, ignore. As Peter in the background is going, Martin, help. Oh, he's got earbuds in. Martin, I don't feel zoomed. Martin! I love that one.
Martin, I don't feel zoomed.
I also love this one. Peter Lucas, Dance Master. This was another piece of rugged art, which was Peter Lucas, but Friday Night Funkin'. Holy moly, I had fun making this sprite edit of him. And it's Peter, but with a microphone and gloves, and he's got a little bit of a disco thing going on. Also a really surprisingly great top knot.
Excellent hair. Yes. Exactly.
To which I responded with, Martin, I'm about to drop some fat beats over these fire lyrics you wrote for me. Martin, don't you want to see me bring in both the noise and the funk? Martin.
Okay, chat, just substitute the word Martin with, hey, hon, and you understand what my evenings are
I bring in both the noise and the funk.
He does, in fact, bring both the noise and the funk.
All
and
day.
ask me if he can on a regular basis.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Next up is the Breadlick Sonnet, which I believe
yes.
we were going to...
So I think what we're going to do here for this one, let me put the link in the chat one more time, everybody. And then there is a request for this to be a duet.
This is from Wendy, I believe.
Hang on. Oh, I got to take off my headset.
She's taking off her headset, folks. Serious business.
Okay.
So you're doing the Breadlick.
I'll do the Breadlick part, and I'm gonna get down here because you're too. Oh my gosh, my hair. Okay, so I'll read the Breadlick part, and then you read the
iambic pentameter.
Okay. My name is Poem.
And lo, my form is fixed.
The people say
that structure is a jail.
I am my best.
When formats are not mixed.
When it's poets, right?
Yes.
When poets play.
Subversions often fail.
Stick out their tongue.
To rebel with no cause.
At rules and norms.
In ignorance they call.
My words are free.
Defying literate laws.
to lick the forms.
Brings ruin on us all.
A sonnet I,
The noblest literate verse.
and rules me bind.
To paths that Shakespeare paved.
Iambic foot,
Allusions well dispersed.
on my behind.
I stately sit and wave.
You think me tame,
Fenced in and penned. Bespelled I bide my time.
I twist the end.
Like hell.
I think. I'm not sure if we got that wrong. You think me tame, fenced in and penned, bespelled.
So it's you think me tamed, you think me tamed, fenced in and penned. I bide my time, I twist to the end. So I'm just bespelled like hell.
Okay.
So
Let's try that.
Yeah, okay.
You think me tame, fenced in and penned.
Bespelled
I bide my time. I twist the end.
like hell.
I like that.
That's so good.
Really, really creative. I'll put a link to that in the chat again because I really, really love that.
That is so freaking
It's
clever.
very creative. And that's all of the shenanigans that we had in the hopper.
The cupboard is empty.
That poem is art. It's really
One of the very first podcasts I started listening to is a thing called We Got This by Hal Lublin and Mark Gagliardi, formerly of Thrilling Adventure Hour. And we'll talk about Thrilling Adventure Hour at some point. But they do this thing where they'll pick, well, people will suggest to them a thing, and they will debate it and work out what the best version of the thing is. And then that becomes legally binding for the whole world. This is why Hal, to this day, continues to refuse to accept that their best sandwich episode happened, because he is a good Philadelphia boy, and hoagies did not win. It's worth it for when other Thrilling Adventure Hour episodes stars actually show up. Paget Brewster regularly does the Christmas show with them, plastered, and will just randomly throw bits of food from her Christmas hampers at them. She's hilarious.
That's like my life's goal, is to be plastered on someone's Christmas special.
Hello, have some wine.
Exactly.
You know, but my favorite thing they do is 3 or 4 times a year they do here's the 25 things we've got which couldn't carry a whole show, but we could do 10 minutes of, and just do all of them. And this is pretty much our version of that. Oh, we'll talk about Thrilling Adventure Hour at some point, and my deep, profound love for Beyond Belief. Martini, darling. Clink.
And we did that on RQGG a lot, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I think it was one of those late night board games I suck at. We were playing.
Rusty Quill After Dark.
Oh God! Where was that one? There was a Rusty Quill After Dark breadlick as well. Zalia, you linked it. Hold on, is it in one of these open tabs? Check these open tabs. No, I think I closed it. Shoot, Zalia did an amazing. Breadlick was that ended in RQ after dark.
Possible incoming bonus shenanigans.
Yes, exactly. Gotta see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it.
Mark Evan Jackson does show up quite regularly on we Got This, I seem to remember. He's very excited about boat shoes. He talks about them a lot.
Boat shoes?
Yes.
You mean like deck shoes?
Yes.
Oh.
Martin, I may not be aligned with the desolation, but these beats are fire.
Exactly. Now, there was one other thing that I wanted to have ready for tonight, but Shenanarchaeologists. Oh, I gotta figure out how to pronounce it. There it is. Zalia's just put it in the chat. Read.
My name is Al, and in the stream, I play the game. I live the dream. It's late at night, and will remark, it's RQGG After Dark.
Thank you, Zelia. That was fantastic. The clinks were Beyond Belief references. Of course they were. Martini, darling. Ding! There's another one.
My name is Grant. I write the game. I DM, though it caused me pain. When players undermine the boss, I take control and lick chaos.
Do not lick chaos. It's not good for you.
Yes, fantastic. So that was our first year Twitch streaming. And,
yeah,
I mean, we found the best audience ever. It's you.
Yes, it very much is you. The thing that we wanted to have ready for tonight, but I ran out of time. let's just say that there may be a new TikTok account starting tomorrow, which I might, very prominently advertise on Twitter.
We had an idea, which there was an idea.
Thank you. If you're gonna say that long, you have to say it properly. Oh yes, Zolia, I had something
Thank
to say
you,
about
Zolia.
Boz. Yes. Okay, let me come on camera and do this.
Okay.
Hold on.
We need to get the other camera set up so we can...
Yeah. I need to figure out how we can do 2 cameras. I have an idea for how to do it, but apparently Dickens had a beloved cat, and when the cat died, his sister took the cat's arm and made it into the handle of a letter opener
What the fuck?
and gave it to Boz for Christmas. I will dig up the picture to this because I saw this on Bo Bolander's stream. But yeah, that's apparently a thing Victorians did. Is they repurposed beloved pets. Yeah.
Have you seen Tiddles? What? The letter opener? Yeah, it's just over there.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find...
Fuck.
Like I said, this was on Bo's feed. Let me see if I can find it and put it in the chat. But why don't you tell him about there was an idea? Don't spoil it. You're just shook.
I had a cat growing up. He was great. He was called Emrys. He lived to 15 and passed...
People are saying that's positively upsetting.
Oh, and passed fairly
Bad bugs.
peacefully. And had that happened 50 years earlier, I would have come home from school to find my mum going, "Don't worry, son, we know you miss your cat. Here's his head as a bottle opener."
Hang on, I'm finding the link right now, because... yeah, here we go. Charles Dickens' cat's paw is in Midtown. Here's the full-on article. Good news, Chuck. You remember Bob, your beloved cat? Yes, I am still very much aggrieved of his loss. Well, cheer up, Buttercup. I have one of his limbs right here. I chopped it off and stuck it to a letter opener for you.
And now there's a knife attached.
For Christmas.
Knife cat.
The Victorians, everyone.
June on HBO.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing that happened. And next week, Search and Rescue! It's like totally setting the mood, isn't it?
Back to stories about people being turned into fleshy Lego.
And on that note...
And on that note, yes, there will be a thing which will probably start happening in the next couple of days, which will be TikTok related. You'll find it pretty quickly, because we'll be shouting about it an awful lot. Thank you. That's the widest band sentiment I can possibly express. We had no idea this was going to work. What, 8 months ago?
Yeah.
And we've found a rhythm and stories which are incredibly fun to do, and an audience which are incredibly supportive and appreciative and ridiculously talented.
And flego is a horrible word. Ew.
And this is just an absolute joy. And that has been in short supply for everybody this year. So from both of us to all of you, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Thank you very much. Please stick around if you can. I've put together a short, fan art roundup
It's
of
so
all the
good.
various pieces of stuff that people have sent us. It's not all of them, because apparently OBS has a file limit. But we have put some of them together because we wanted to say thank you so much for all the various art that everybody has sent us throughout the year, which we really appreciate.
Apparently the 15th fear entity is cat knife.
I can't argue with that. I
Say
really
goodnight,
can't.
Gracie.
Well, tell everybody where you're going to be next.
Oh yeah, we are streaming this Sunday.
God willing and the creek don't rise.
Which
Otherwise known as if we get up before noon.
Yeah.
We were really tired last Sunday. Everybody.
God.
I'm very sorry.
we will. It's looking pretty likely we'll be coming back to Last Campfire this Sunday. We have the game that's probably following that lined up now too, which might be our first foray onto the Switch.
Do we?
Stella, the weird space platformy exploration-y thing.
Oh, yeah, because we got a capture card for Christmas, and I just have to figure out how to make it work.
won't take long.
Science.
Was that the crick or the crypt don't rise? Both. Let's say both. We
It's
were in
open
fact
for
very tired from
interpretation.
eating all
If
the
you're in
cheese.
New Orleans, the answer is both.
Yes.
There you go.
But yes, next up will be more from The Last Campfire, and then next Wednesday, we're going back into the woods, which I'm really looking forward to, for more search and rescue. In the intervening time, in the end of this deeply weird week, which is like a controlled skid through space and no space and time and no time, please hydrate, please look after your pets, please look after yourselves, eat when you need to, get whatever sleep you possibly can, and we will see you in a new and hopefully much, much better year.
I have to come manually push the button because I made a new scene and I forgot to program
And
it.
that
I'm
also
really
means
sorry,
that you can
everybody.
wave to the nice folks.
Okay.
Bye.